Hi everybody, this is Boogess Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new Neca Target exclusive Ultimate TMNT Cartoon Panda Con figure. So before we take a look at Panda Con, let's go ahead and take a look at all of the accessories that he comes with. So first up, he comes with a set of fisted hands. Up next, he comes with a set of open/relaxed hands. Up next, he comes with accessory holding hands and these claw weapons. And these look really good. He's got a really tight grip on them too, like they don't feel like they're going to slip out of his hands or anything. So yeah, he looks pretty cool with those. Up next, he comes with accessory holding hands with hinged wrists to hold his sword. I believe it's called the Morning Key. And that looks really good. I like the yin and the yang logo right there. And the wrapping to the handle there is sculpted really nicely. You also get some black paint over top of it. I definitely wish they would have cell shaded the sword right here, the edge of this. But other than that, I think it looks pretty cool, and it's a pretty large sword. Up next, he comes with his backpack, and I love the sculpt and the paint on it. All of the black lines came out really crisp and neat. That looks really cool. And you can put his sword down in it. You can put his other weapons down in it too, but I feel like once you put them down in there, they might get stuck in there if they get stuck a certain way. So I do just put his sword in here, but it stays in there really well. I like how you can actually open the top on that. That looks really cool. Now, these are really soft rubber, so I don't think you want to open that and close it too often, because you could wear it thin and rip it right there. It feels pretty durable, but it's definitely something I don't want to push. Up next, you get his standard head sculpt. An angry looking head sculpt, I should say. And this looks really good. The paint detail to it looks pretty nice, and he has some very awesome sculpted fur. I don't know if the camera's picking that up very well, but he actually has some really awesome sculpted fur. Now, the top half of his head is removable. You can switch it between both of the head sculpts. It does pop off like that. It pops off a little too easy. If you put it on there and then kind of put some pressure on it, it will stay. But if you bump it, it will fall off, so that is unfortunate. So you have to take the top of his head off to put his hat on. You can see the way it pegs right there. You just put the strap under his chin right here and line it up like this. And then there you have his hat. And this also has some really awesome sculpt detail to it. I like the little black painted lines right there. But man, that is sculpted really well. And it's also outlined in black. That came out really clean. And they also sculpted the underneath of it as well. I actually think this is how I like to leave the figure displayed. I just think he looks really cool with that bamboo hat on. And finally, he comes with his alternate, even angrier head sculpt. You can see the gritted teeth right there, and that looks really good. I will say switching this out was kind of a nightmare. I even shaved the peg down a little bit, and it still didn't want to pop on there. So it is unnecessarily tough to switch these head sculpts out. You also get this new upper piece with his ears right there that has the ponytail, and that's sculpted on really well. But if you want to switch that out, you can. This one actually feels a lot tighter. You can hear how it switches out, and this one isn't that tight on the other head sculpt that I showed off. Maybe it's just this set of ears, because you can hear that it doesn't pop on and off like this one did. So there he is with the alternate set of ears on, and I think that looks pretty cool on him. As I said, you can switch out the ears, the bamboo hat, to all of the head sculpts, and I think that looks really cool. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the figure. Neca did a very awesome job at sculpting and painting this. All the black lines, like the outline right here on the white, looks really good. You get some more sculpted fur right there on his neck. Surprisingly, this vest is a separate piece. It's not glued down or anything. I honestly thought this was just sculpted on top of this, but no, it's actually a separate piece. If you wanted to, you could probably take it off, but I wouldn't see the need in doing that. But I do think it's cool that that's actually a separate piece. That looks really good. There are two things that stood out to me now that I have this figure in hand. The first are the colors. The colors are very vibrant and they really pop. He's just a very colorful figure, and I like that. The colors just really stand out on him. And the second is how hefty and large he is. He's a very large figure. I'm really surprised he was just the price of a regular Ultimate, because he is pretty bulky. But aside from the colors that pop, I think the sculpt looks really good to the armor as well. The black paint came out really clean. That looks really good. And one thing I didn't notice until recently is he actually has a swivel right here at the forearm. They hid it because of the straps on his armor. Honestly, they hid that really well. I wouldn't have known there was articulation there otherwise. That really surprised me. You get some painted on lines on the pants right there. I feel like they could have sculpted a wrinkle right there, but they didn't. But the straps and everything painted really nicely, sculpted really well, and then you get some more sculpted fur on his feet right there. This might just be one of my favorite figures from Haulathon. It's just a really, really cool looking figure. All new sculpt, he's a big hefty figure, the collars pop on it, and I think the articulation is decent. I do have a complaint with that, which I'll go ahead and go over when I go over the articulation. So let's go ahead and go over that right now. So he has a ball jointed head that can really only look up that far. He can look down all the way. He can move his head side to side, but you can hear how tight that joint is. His head can move all the way around. He also has a swivel back here on the tie on his headband. Kind of tight, but it can move all the way around. He has shoulders that can move all the way out. These shoulder pads are really soft material, so they don't hinder his articulation at all. He has a swivel bicep, very tight sounding joint. Double jointed elbows that can bend in that far. Hinged wrists that can move up and down and spin all the way around. Oh, and the articulation right here at the forearm. It's pretty tight too, but it does move. Now, my biggest complaint with this figure is he can't actually hold his sword in both hands. You can kind of force it, but then you might either break the sword or his hands. It would have been cool if he would have had enough articulation to allow for his hands to hold it naturally, because that's even with his elbows bent in all the way. So you can see that it just comes up a little bit short of actually being able to hold it in both hands. So that is my major complaint with this figure. I believe his waist is ball jointed, but because of the way everything is sculpted, it really just moves side to side, and even that is pretty hindered. He has ball jointed hips that can only move out that far. He can kick forward a decent amount for having that armor right there. He can kick back just a little bit. Very nice thigh swivel. Single jointed knees that can actually bend back a decent amount. You can see that they sculpted it that way you can move it back that far. Does he have? No, he doesn't have a swivel here. I thought maybe they had a joint right there. He has ankles that can move down very slightly. They don't really move. He does have swivel up here in the shin, and then a nice ankle rocker. So, the figure is nice, but I do feel like the articulation is pretty limited in quite a few places. I think that not only right here, but the figure overall has kind of limited articulation. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up, here he is next to Leonardo and Michelangelo, and you can see how much larger of a figure he is. He towers over them. Here he is next to Donatello and Michelangelo. I did take PandaCon's backpack off, that way you could get a more accurate read on how he scales next to the other figures. I should have taken that off for the first size comparison. Here he is next to Splinter. Here he is next to Usagi, who's an extremely small figure next to him. Here he is next to the slashed foot soldier, which is surprisingly the only cartoon foot soldier that I have in my collection at the moment. Here he is next to the new Ultimate Shredder figure. And finally, here he is next to Bebop and Rocksteady. So overall, I would highly recommend this because I think Neca did a really good job on this. He's a really bulky, tall figure. He has some really awesome sculpt detail to him. The paint looks really good, and the colors are very vibrant. I think he's just a really awesome looking figure, and this might be one of my favorite figures from Haulathon so far. The only real complaint that I have is that some of the joints are pretty limited in what they can do. I feel like the articulation is a little more hindered in some spots than it should be. But other than that, I think this is a really cool figure and definitely must have if you collect the turtle line. So if you can find this, definitely pick it up. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.